now.
There we go.
Yeah, so welcome to another podcast. I've no idea what we'll do with the footage. We'll probably just upload it. But this is me talking to Harlequin over in Australia while he's out for a wander.
I am walking in the dark.
So we could be his only...
It's not really actually that dark. It's actually not really that dark. Like, it's nearly a full... what is it? Halfway to being... 3/4 of the way to being a full moon. I don't know what that is in moon terms. And it's completely clear. And I have a head torch.
So that's something. Yeah, that's something I got to pop into the adventure bag, just a cheap head torch. You never know.
Yes, I've now stolen one of the boys' head torches, and it is an absolute boon for going for a walk in the middle of the night. Like, it's dark. I want to go for a walk. I will take a head torch with me. It makes it so much easier. You know, I'm not stuck. I can walk the same walk that I do. You know, I can go anywhere now because I've got a head torch. You know, and a pair of safety glasses, the prescription safety glasses, so I don't get shit in my eyes.
Yeah, I should put my safety
I seem to fall
glasses
over
on.
less often.
Yeah.
For some reason, I seem to fall over less often when I'm walking. I'm going to say that now. I'm going to fall over, aren't I?
Yeah, live.
No. Well, someday soon we'll have enough technology in Australia. You know, like in the next 100 years, we might have enough technology in Australia that we could like live broadcast my video in.
Well, I've still got to build those Raspberry Pi infrared goggles.
Yeah.
I need to put that together
That's what I need
and sync in a couple of buttons so that you've got, you know, infrared on, then infrared recording video, and infrared recording a like a photograph. So if you see a deer and you've just got the goggles on, you can press it and it will take a snapshot.
Take a snapshot, yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
No. Yeah.
So I don't know whether this is going to come out
because we were talking about interesting stuff.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Well, the whole getting into the whole bushcrafting thing as an adjunct to doing the urban agoge thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think we'll reach a plateau in the fitness where it's just sort of like, right, okay, so what is your, say, 3 times a week workout once you've done the army fitness course? Because the army seem to be into this 3 days a week or 4 days a week thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe get, you know, say 4 yoga positions that you hold for a few minutes. Then you've got like a bit of a run, and then you've got, right, okay, do, you know, a minute of push-ups, a minute of sit-ups, and then some other stuff, just to keep all the rest of your muscles in. So you probably got to work out some calisthenics. And I think we were both talking about doing some weight work.
Yep, for sure.
But I mean, if you've got the weights, then you can sort of go, right, I'm going to put the weights into I'm going to put some weight into a sturdy backpack. What if I put in, say, 20 kilos? Because 20 kilos was what I was carrying on Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah, and 20 kilos is about, it's a good enough reference point. But 20 kilos is like 50 pound, isn't it? Near enough, 50 pound.
It's
so it's
2.2 pounds,
48.
40 point. No, it's probably about 44 pounds.
Yeah,
and that is literally enough equipment for if you've got equipment that'll allow you to manufacture food and water. So if you've got a water purifying canteen, you've got some water. I mean, in that 44 pounds, I included 3 litres of water in my Camelback. But I had all the food I needed for a week.
Yeah.
As well as all my wild camping gear, changes of clothes, socks, navigation gear. You know, I really did have quite... You know, I had everything I needed. I didn't stop and go into any shops or anything like that. I literally had everything. No. I had packet soup, I had noodles, I had tuna... You know, I had a few canned things, zillions of those cereal bars and stuff like that, so I could eat on the move. Because I knew that my lightweight food just didn't have the calories.
Yeah.
And we were made miserable on the Hadrian's Wall walk by trying to keep up with people that wanted to zip off. So we were pushing ourselves to get to certain spots.
Yep.
And we were, we got lost a couple of times. So although it's only 87 miles, there were a few reroutes and stuff like that. Side trips that we had to make for campsites and stuff. Whereas if everybody had been equipped to the same standard, we passed so many good places to wild camp.
If everyone had been a bit more organised.
Yeah, I mean, I might well do it
right.
next year with Dean. We'll take a week out. We'll walk Hadrian's Wall again.
I've asked him.
Can you not hear me? Hello? Ah, so this is what happens when you record someone on a phone. I'll have to go to text.
You're there now.
Can you hear me? One, 2, 3, 4. Connecting to Australia. Ah. Let's see. Do.
Pressing all buttons at once. Hello?
I can hear you again now. Can you hear me?
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
Oh,
it's all right. I must have
excellent.
just, I don't know what happened there. I got to the top of the hill and I got less reception than when I was at the bottom of the hill.
That's weird.
Work that one out.
Well, it's probably you got to the top of the hill and you were then just in the shadow of the signal tower that you were using to connect.
Yeah.
So you
Possibly.
just crested the hill. But isn't it
Yeah.
cool? We can do this with technology. I can talk to you in Australia. That's just still blows my mind.
Yeah, what?
While you're wandering around.
Yes.
And I can record it with video on a £60 computer. You know,
Yes, it's
with
pretty astounding.
it's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the worst that happens is we drop out because my signal goes.
yeah. If you're listening to this, and if you're one of the original 20-odd subscribers, you're probably someone I work with or somebody that is into Rangers anyway. And yeah, they all know that I don't hold with spending thousands of pounds on laptops. I was trying to explain that to my daughter the other day. She was going, "Oh, well, I don't have any of the gear." And we were in one of these sort of like pawn shops, CEX, and I was pointing to laptops, and she was going, "My laptop's rubbish. I need to get another one." It's like, well, you need to be looking at this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And she was like, "But that won't do it. That won't allow me to do what I want to do." And it's like, it's allowing me to edit video, play games, you know, communicate with people in the rest of the world. What is it you actually want to do?
Yeah. No.
You know.
It's it's just astounding. Look, I think a question asked of me the other day was what 3D like I used to, as you know, I used to work in 3D programming, in CNC programming for the Air Force, for the aeronautical industry, and someone turned around and said, like, what do I need to do this with, like, what would you recommend? And I was like, just if you've got Microsoft Windows, go and download Autodesk Fusion 360, and just use that, because it literally has now built into it all the stuff you need for 3D printing, all the stuff you need for sheet metal pressing, for press brakes and all the rest of it type thing. You do all the press curves and it does everything for you, and you don't even have to like try hard. And it's like, and you can run that on like, a 10-year-old machine. Will probably run that quite happily, as long as it's got a reasonable like 8 gig of memory. It'll run it quite happily.
Yeah.
The only reason to have Microsoft have ever come up with Autodesk series of stuff, it's the only reason why.
Yeah, it must be pretty weird.
But yeah. But that's the thing is, like, I can't see, it's a whole other field of stuff that you can do with very cheap technology.
Unless you're gonna.
Well, I think if you're using like what we're talking about very early on before we started the recording, we're talking about the 360 cameras, the 360 like 8K cameras, and it's like, yeah, that needs a bit more beef. But, you know, as I said before, you know, I can't even get close to upload speeds for 1080p to be reasonable in Australia. So how in God's name am I even going to, like, how am I ever going to do 4K? It's not going to happen. How am I going to do 8K at, like, you know, at that kind of speed, you know, for wraparound view? Like, I can't get it on the net. So it doesn't work anyway. You know, my bottleneck isn't the machine I own at home. My bottleneck is my access speed to the internet in, you know, my third world internet access of Australia. You know,
Yeah.
which is just insane. You know, someday the government will work out that people will actually use the internet for things if they actually make it fast enough. You know, and they build a system that actually works. But that is not happening anytime soon. I fear that I will be laying the cable for that one rather than anyone else. But yeah, there we go. But no, so yeah, so bushcraft stuff, like, you know, that's kind of where I was going with the audio last night, was like, you know, having people, you know, I'd like it all to be 0 to hero. Like, you know, and like, not everyone knows how to light a fire. That's as insane as that seems. I work with people who can't light a fire in the fireplace at work. You know, so I have to go and light fires because they just flatly refuse to learn or be shown how to light a fire with what is essentially like, you know, a methane or hexamine brick fire lighter, a box of matches or a lighter, and all the kindling, you know, pre-cut out of pine, all of the wood pre-cut out of red gum, you know, that's bone dry, that will burn.
Yeah.
Type thing, you know.
There's a little bit of your brain that just goes, well, how are you failing to do this?
Yeah, it's like, you know, but there is that bit of like, you know, well, you know, how did I learn to light a fire? Well, I joined Cubs when I was like, you know, what, 11, 12, no, not even 11. I was in primary school. So I must have been, what, 6 or 7 then when I joined Cubs? Maybe 8. And I'd certainly lit the fire at home with Dad to light the heating at home to light the fire at home for the heating. I'd certainly done that before because I remember holding up we had an open hearth. We had to hold a bit of newspaper up to get it to draw right when you first started them, you know. But people just don't know. You know, people have no idea how to light a fire. You know, people have no idea how to, you know, how to put up a tent in the right environment so you don't fall down a cliff or kill yourself or get hit on the head by a rock or get flooded out or, you know, whatever's going to happen to you that will happen to you.
I think the weirdest thing about it is that people, because everybody thinks it's a simple skill and a simple thing to do, they discount it completely. Yeah, because it's not something that they have to do regularly. It's sort of like, oh, you just hold a lighter to something and it spontaneously catches fire, you know. Because I've been told that wood's flammable, I can take a log and hold a lighter underneath it, and it'll just somehow catch fire. And because they consider it to be a non-skill, they discount it when you light a fire. And it's just like, well, you know, the only way to prove it to them is just leave them to it, which isn't a solution if you're cold. You've got to have the luxury of it being like late afternoon, early evening. And they go, oh, I'll light the fire. And you're like, okay. And you've got to just walk away and go and do something else. Because watching someone fail to light a fire for an hour is one of the most annoying things of all time. It's
aggravating beyond belief.
You're far better off to wander off into the woods and get a load of kindling and some small sticks and stuff like that, and all the bits that you need, you know that you're going to be able to light a fire with that lighter in 30 seconds flat, and put it in a bag and not tell anybody you've got it. And by the time it starts to get dark and it's too dangerous to go and get firewood, then you've got to produce it and just go, right, okay, this is how you do it.
Yeah,
you know, and then even then, when somebody's been dicking about with it for an hour, and you walk up, you clear their fire, you've got to sweep away all their shit, and build a fire properly, set it up, and start feeding and drying all the other wood and stuff around the fire, and then start feeding in the larger stuff, and you've got a fire that's going. Everybody looks at it like, oh well, I you know, it's like when somebody opens a jar of pickles for you, and you pop it open, and then they go, I loosened it. Stop it. And they're like, well, I've been dicking around with this fire for hours. It's like, yeah, I tried to tell you last time how to light a fire. You went, yeah, and ignored me. And you're like, yeah, okay. It's not a universal skill, and it's just like, but
No.
it's the technology from which all other technology comes. You know,
Yeah.
you can sharpen
Yeah.
you can put a fire hardened point on a stick to turn it into a spear. You know, you can you can work metal with this amount of fire, as we've proved.
As we've proven.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's like everything in terms of, you know, quote unquote preparedness or survival. You know, your average person will not get out of their, you know, your average, you know, survivalist will not get out and go for a run. Will not be able to run 5Ks. They'll say they can. They'll say they can walk for half a day with their bug-out bag on their back.
Yeah, well, I get a lot of
But they
people at
can't.
work doing that. You know, oh, I could do that, and it's like, yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, well then go and do it.
But none of them want to arm wrestle me at the moment. They're like,
No.
oh, I could do that many push-ups. I could run that far. It's like, okay. When did you last do it?
Well, then do it.
Oh, when I was a kid in PE.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a big old difference.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you have done it previously in your life. You're not doing it now. And I think we've
Yeah.
proved in the last 8 weeks that you can get up to that over a couple of months. You can get to that point where you can go, right, okay, I'm going to go for a run, even though the weather's horrible. And I'm super grateful. I mean, I bet you're finding it yourself. If you film after you've done your run to talk about having done your run, you're more likely to go for the run.
Oh yeah, it makes you do it. I think that's the kicker is, you know, if you can't, it gives you the impetus, you know, because I know that someone's watching me. Even if it's just you.
Yeah.
And you know that someone's watching you, even if it's just me.
Yeah.
Type thing. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and touch wood, I haven't. You know, neither of us had any major accidents, bar falling over like clowns in the woods, which has been quite entertaining on everyone's front.
Yes. Yesterday's Sunday's falling over in the woods was pretty major. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I really went for a burn,
Yes.
and you can't always see it because I'm standing to correct the lean of the hill, so you can't really
You're standing straight up and down, and you can't see where the hill is, and then you fall over.
But it's properly a 45-degree angle where I was standing, and it was just like I was
which is
stupidly wearing trainers, and once the treads on your trainers fill up with mud, that's it. They're like slippers.
Oh, you're fucked. Yeah. But no, mine was on a similar thing. I was coming down off the top hill, down into here, and I just went, oh, I'm just going to fall over now. And you know, bloody, I don't know how many years of judo and jiu-jitsu training have basically taught me to not fall over. But it was like, I can drop the phone and not fall over, or I can fall down the cliff. I'm going to choose to drop the phone down the cliff, which is quite entertaining when I then picked up the phone and started recording myself upside down. I had to go correct it in post-editing. So you didn't have an upside down Australian. But hey, I learned something. I learned how to turn video footage upside down.
Yeah.
That was quite comical. It's like I knew there was a button to do that somewhere in here. Where is it? I can find the instructions somewhere. Yeah. But that's the thing. I think it all needs to be, you know, I think if you want people to be able to do it. Yeah, so what I was talking about before was the Bushcraft USA website has I want to say it's the Bush Class, like CLASS, Bush Class, like curriculum they worked out. And some of the videos are on YouTube by a guy from, I want to say it's Iowa. And he is very interesting as regards some of the videos he does, type things. But they did it. It was all for free. Like all you had to do was sign up to the website to access all the information. And it was like, you know, so the first thing was like, you know, the first half of the things were like, you know, can you make a fire kit up with, you know, with man-made fires? Now, can you make 5 fires with different man-made fires? You know, which, you know, I do on a weekly basis at work. I had to go and light the smoker at work. Every week we smoke, you know, a couple of 100 kilos of meat at work. And, you know, as the lowest of the low, and the person who likes lighting fires the most, or the least, I don't know which one it is, I'm a designated dog's body who goes and splits the firewood and then lights the fires.
Yeah. And are treated
so
like a dog's body for doing the thing that the other people can't do. It's like,
yeah.
Guys,
which is quite entertaining.
Yeah. It's the way it's discounted so much. You know,
yeah.
when you go, oh, I went wild camping, and it's sort of like, oh yeah, I could do that. And it's like, have you?
Yeah. Yeah, have you ever done it though?
Yeah.
Have you ever, you know? But that's the thing is, I think like if it's broken down, then anyone who, I think no matter where you are, like if you're not going to do it, you're not going to do it. It's a bit like going for a run. You can prove to umpteen people and say you can go for a run. Like just for 2 weeks, just go out and go for a walk for 45 minutes. Just to make sure you can actually go for a walk for 45 minutes. At the end of that 2 weeks on the Monday morning, you've just got to like jog and walk. You jog for 2 minutes, you walk for a minute type thing. Which you basically, if you're shuffling along at a reasonable pace when you're walking, you're doing exactly the same speed as when you're jogging. Certainly I am.
I'm probably a bit. I'm probably about 30% faster when I'm jogging.
Yeah, I'm not. I just walk exceptionally fast normally when I'm not. If I'm recording something, I don't because I can't talk and walk at the same time. But if I'm walking for myself, I walk bloody fast.
Oh yeah, if I'm walking to a thing, I'm walking pretty fast.
Yeah.
If I'm having a wander in the woods, I'm paying attention because I have seen a couple of deer now, where you just like.
Yes,
okay.
I heard my first ones. I heard my first deer on Sunday, with my strange noises in the woods, and I was like, "What the hell is that noise?" It literally sounded like a possum being strangled by a cat, and I worked out finally it was actually the doe, making noises rather than the bull. I've heard bulls before because they call when you know what they sound like, type thing. But I was glad I didn't send the dog in to go and find out what was going on.
Yeah.
Don't go near mating deers, anyone. Mating deers will unmate, and then they will decide to stick themselves through you within close order of one another. Ask me how you would know that one.
Yeah.
They are not friendly creatures when they are having a bit of frisky time between themselves. Especially not when it comes to dogs or humans that they know. Like around here, they're hunted, quite readily. But yeah, but no. So yeah, I think like breaking it up and having like demonstrating to people like how you make that really simple shelter out of plastic bags. How you build a really simple lean-to shelter type thing. I know it's been done a million times before, but I think it's a worthwhile. It's a bit like what do you need to pack to go in your bucket bag, and then how do you get fit enough to carry your bucket bag, when your car breaks down and there's no solution and there's no diesel and there's no umpteen other reasons, and you've gone as far as you can possibly go and you've still got a couple of days hike to go, then how do you actually do that thing? How do you get ready to do that thing? Because turning around saying I can do it is quite obviously not the solution if you're honest with yourself. Like, it's quite obviously, most people, if pushed, probably could walk for, get a backpack on and walk for 3 days, unless they would on the scale of being very, very unhealthy. Your average reasonably healthy person could do that. But your average reasonably healthy person isn't, watching two unqualified people run around the bush.
Yeah.
For shits and gigs. I don't know. I think there's more information out there that needs to be passed on in without the hoo-ha, without the hoo-hoo, and without the and things and being honest and saying, well, like these things change. Like, the stuff that I have here is completely different to the stuff you have there.
Well,
it just doesn't.
You've got interesting wildlife and plants that will kill you and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas,
but even like recognizing the introduced species and then knowing which ones of them are actually useful, in terms of being like better for making friction boards up and better for fire lighting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like if you can spot a willow at 50 meters, on a creek line in Australia. And you can spot spot the blackberry bushes.
Yeah.
Then you shoot in type thing. You're much more equipped. Anyone can walk around and say, "Oh, that's a wattle tree."
Yeah, I mean that's something I've never done with any bushcraft video, and I have got the Collins Gem Book of Trees. So it's sort of like okay, as an exercise on one of the bushcraft videos, every different tree I come across, I'm going to identify. Right, yeah. So this is a silver birch, this is a beech tree, this is an oak, this is an ash, this is a willow. And then do a little bit of research and go, right, what's the best thing for, say, a bow drill set? What out,
Yeah.
out of the trees that I know are in the woods?
Yeah.
Which
What
ones,
can I use for
which
what
one's
purpose?
going to be used as the hearthboard? One's going to be used as the spindle? Which one will be
Yeah.
is going to be better for the top bit?
Yeah.
I mean,
Which one's going to be, which one's going to be useful for being a tinder that I can get off anytime and is dry and is going to work type thing. Which wood is going to last me overnight,
yeah.
when I can
I'd
section
say
it up.
probably a decent sort of finger thick stick of willow is probably going to be best for the bow, because you essentially
Almost
need
guaranteed.
4 different bits of wood, but the bow has to have some flex
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
And that might be why I put an extra couple of pairs of shoelaces or something in my adventure bag. It's not going to weigh anything. It's not going to take up any space. But for a bow drill set,
Yeah.
starting 5 from nothing. I mean, I've only successfully done bow drill once, so that could probably be something I could practice and get better. It doesn't take long.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was sort of where I was going with the whole firelighting thing. Is like, I light fires at work all the time with man-made, stuff, and I can't do it at work because obviously the boss is going to pay me to fuck around with the bow drill set. But when I'm at home and I'm lighting the fire at home, it's like, set yourself that goal of saying like, well, for 28 days, I'm going to make myself a bow drill set. I'm going to prove that the bow drill set works, and then for 28 days, I'm going to light a fire every day, with a bow drill set. And then you've proven to yourself, and you've also proven to everyone else that you can. Not to everyone else, you've proven it more to your own knowledge. Like, you've gained a lot of skill in those 28 days. You've sort of seen it go right, you've seen it go wrong. Because even if you fail for like 3/4 of the times, as long as you keep getting better and better and better, then you're working that skill getting better, isn't it? You don't get better at running by going for one run. You get better at running by doing interval training once a week, and by going for a run once a week, and by going for a walk every day of the week. That's what makes you a good runner. You don't get good at carrying a weight on your back by going for a walk once and doing it once. You get good at carrying weight on your back by linear progressing and saying, I'm going to start my backpack and put a liter of water in it and a snack. I'm going to go on a 5K walk. Now 2 days from now, I'm going to go on another 5K walk, and I'm going to put another 1 kilo in my backpack, or another 500 grams in my backpack. Another pound in my backpack. And build it up. Work out where I get hot spots, work out what I need to do, make sure I'm doing all the other exercises I need to do to make sure I'm actually strong so that I can do this stuff. Excuse me while I whistle my dog. Come here. Where's she gone now? There you are. Don't harass the tennis players. Ugh, dogs.
Yeah.
She's finally worked out where to go when I'm running. She's finally worked out. I've only fallen over her 3 times. She's worked it out already. She's worked out when Kim starts huffing and puffing, I will run behind him. He doesn't matter how far behind I run behind him. He doesn't care. As long as at the end I'm there. It's funnily enough, actually, she's really good at pace off of. I never thought that would ever be the case, but she's actually like, you can tell when you're running at the right pace, because she actually because she runs at she can just run at a constant pace the whole bloody time because she's that bloody fit. It's unbelievable. But she runs. You just run off her pace, so when you're slowing down because she slows down and starts walking, and when you're going, when you're actually running because she starts to trot along type thing and gets a bit of movement to her type thing, which is weird. It's a bit like having a personal trainer with it being a black and white dog. Strange idea. And I suppose, like all good personal trainers, she can always beat me.
I think we're going to have to order a thing from Banggood. That's not good.
I find they take a suitably long time to get here.
Yeah, and you're closer to it than me.
I don't think that ever makes any difference in these terms.
I'm just trying to... Because it's got a non-standard... This is the only downside. It's not an HDMI cable. The good thing about the Firefly 8 SE is that it takes standard action camera batteries, because I've got a whole stack of them.
Oh, right.
So it'll take a... it'll take a standard action camera, and I've got about 5 of those.
Yeah.
But I can't seem to find the video cable, because there is definitely...
Something weird about the video cable.
Yeah. I don't know though, it does seem to be like micro HDMI.
I always get to the same part in the park, and then there's always a cloud at night. It's very weird. I wonder why there's always a cloud just here to walk through. I have to say though, it's not like walking through a cloud in England. Clouds in England are wet.
Yeah.
Clouds in Australia are just grey to walk through. There's no like, there doesn't seem any moisture to them. You know, you don't get wet from walking through a cloud in Australia, seemingly. You walk through a cloud in England, and it's like you get sodden from it.
Yeah, that's the whole Scotch mist thing. It is pretty mad.
Yeah.
I think it might be micro HDMI. I hope so, because I want to be able to use it as a video input for OBS.
Yeah.
And if it's micro HDMI, I've got an HDMI input USB dongle, and it's like, well, then I can.
Yeah, so you can just wire it straight in.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I wonder whether I should use. Let's have a look at eBay. Let's see.
No. But yeah, so I think breaking up the skills is an important thing. You know, like breaking up. You know, because I don't think people do it well. You know, I think there's a lot of storytelling going on YouTube, but I don't think there's a lot of like actual useful, you know.
Yeah,
this is how you do.
For a lot of it, it's falling into that weird trap where people will watch almost anything. You know, they'll watch loads of stuff, but what they won't do is then go and do it.
Yeah.
You know, they're not watching it so they can learn how to do it. There is a type of person that will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is the type of person, like I am one of them, who will watch the welding video and then go turn the welder on.
Yeah.
Yes. It's the way I like to weld.
There's, you know, there are a few people that will go, oh yes, I will now go and do this.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
the majority of people will not do that.
Most people are watching it for entertainment purposes. So if you're not entertaining,
it's just you
know, it's
but I wonder if you cut the entertainment value out of it to a certain extent, and just had it as like really short clips. You know, this is me lighting fire with, you know, this is me lighting 5 different fires with, you know, for a minute each, or, you know, whatever it takes, 30 seconds each, lighting a fire with man-made found stuff. And then this is me, you know, collecting 5 different, you know, wild tinders, you know.
Yeah, I guess. But I think you'd be on even more of a hiding to nothing. Yes. You know, that you wouldn't even get those people that are watching it to genuinely learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the one that fascinates me is the guy who does technology, and all those very silent YouTubers. You know, they're the ones that fascinate me, because I'm sure that like a mass of those people are watching it in terms of entertainment value. But you know, I learned so much from that guy that then I think to myself, oh yeah, that's how you do that, and then I put it together with this and put it together with that, and I go to myself, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. You know, like you could use that to, you know, to build this thing or build that thing, and start writing stuff down and start journaling bits and pieces and doing other bits and pieces with it.
Yeah.
You know, writing down, you know, do this thing with this video, download the video, and then you know, you can use that to go and, you know, to be creative and learn something. You know, I don't know. I guess you're only talking about the people who are ever likely to build their own house with their own hands.
Yeah.
You know, I guess, and that's a very limited number of people.
Well, I don't quite understand it. You know, in the whole sort of, right, okay, here's the gig. You know, I don't understand when people don't want to be more capable than they are. You know, certainly a lot of the people I meet seem to have got to this point in their life, and scarily, it seems to be in their early 20s.
Mm.
That the idea of learning something new or researching something or just going and trying it is an alien concept. And it's like, there's no way. You know, I'm still learning how to do stuff. There's no way you can have just gone, oh, right, you know, I don't learn stuff because I didn't enjoy school.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, you know, I learnt to read and write and do basic maths and, yeah, probably. I think I probably learned more once I got out of school in those fields.
I always say I famously learnt more history when I left. I learnt more history in the 6 months after I left school because I didn't have to go to school anymore. So once I didn't have to go to school, then everything I read was my own thing.
Yeah.
And I was fascinated by like what people had gone through in the Second World War. So I started reading, you know, a very large collective works of what people had actually gone through in the Second World War, which, you know, I think that speaks a lot to the nature of being English or being, or being from the UK, being British or of British descent. That, you know, the British world is very much stuck in, as Rembia said, like, you know, the English world is stuck in 1940s. You know, carry on, have a cup of tea, and it'll be fine in the Blitz mode.
Well, I don't think I don't think it's as noble as that. I mean, the Second World War was probably our greatest generation, like the Americans say. You know, the greatest generation, total focus on one goal. But there were still people committing terrible crimes and murders and rapes and robberies and stuff like that, all the way through the Second World War.
Yeah.
You know, and you look at people today and you think, oh, right, you want to be 1940s people. Well, you wouldn't stand for the conditions of World War II Britain or World War II Australia even. And Australia was kind of like, apart from a loss of almost an entire generation of young men with the Anzac forces and having those people captured and marched to death in Burma and shit like that, stuff that, you know,
and Singapore, you
know, terrible things that went down. You know, the men, the POWs that Australia did get back were broken when they got home.
Yeah.
They've been treated extremely badly. And you just think you wouldn't put, you know, you look at the average person today. I don't know whether it's different in Australia, but you look at them and you think you wouldn't last 5 seconds. You would just have a complete 2-year-old tantrum the second you came up against what was going down. You know, if I take away your television, you're going to lose your frigging mind.
Yeah.
You know, this is before television, before food refrigeration was a widespread thing. This is before, you know, even regular radio programming. You had nothing. What were you going to? What were you think? You know, if you're harkening back to the 1940s, oh yeah, it was bloody great. You know, so well, no, it wasn't. It was shit. You know, or I really hate it when people do 80s nostalgia. You just want to shake someone to death, screaming, "It was crap, you dickheads! I had to live it." Oh yeah,
I was born in the 80s, and
while playing my Atari 2600. Oh, fuck off! It was shit, and you know it.
Yeah,
it was crap. I lived it. The politics were horrific. You know, there was
that's true.
Got a lot. You know, the homophobia was rife. People, you know, were freaking out about HIV. People were horrible.
Yeah.
People were massively racist, and that was accepted.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't like the 80s, and I hate it when people do this retro rose-tinted spectacles. The music was shit.
Yes.
You know, now go and play a Wham record 5 times over. That will cure you of your 80s retro spangly-eyed. Isn't it retro and cool? No, it sucked. It's only cool if your options are much, much better. Yeah, play on a Game Boy. Oh, this is so cool. What is it? It's really good. I'm really enjoying this. Yeah, compared to Halo, go fuck yourself.
Yes.
You know, compare the computer technology, the things you can do now. You're only playing these retro games because you've got a suitably powerful computer that in its down cycles it can run every single ZX Spectrum game ever created all at once and not even pause for breath while it's rendering live stream video. It can do your crappy laptop can do that. It's like no, it was rubbish. I resent the 80s. You know. And things didn't get much better. It's only in the last sort of like 15 years that technology's really caught up with my ambitions for it.
Yeah, kind of. I suppose, like, you know, I remember being able to do stuff but I wasn't with the computer though. It was, I was using tape to tape, VHS tape to tape transfers in high school in the 90s. I'm talking about the mid 90s here when I was finishing off high school, and we were using tape to tape decks and an Amiga when Amiga was still a thing to do like titles and bits and pieces, and that stuff was interesting.
Yeah,
but now it's like
now
I mean, by comparison, last year, I worked out how to use OBS to play Minecraft and live stream it up to the internet. My internet isn't fast enough to do it, but I can certainly render the video file down, and now I can be like now I can play any game I want to and live stream it and put a stream up on the internet.
Yeah.
Like that's so much cooler. I mean, okay, I'm using it to play fucking Minecraft because it's the only game that remotely interests me in any kind of like way. At this point, I've still yet to find anything else that I found reasonably useful to go and play. But yeah, that just that level of technology is astoundingly good now.
And the price of it,
and the price of it,
inside £100,
60,
you can make a TV studio.
Yeah.
So like, 2 days pay. If you were to go right this week, not including things like rent, which is an ongoing cost, and bills and stuff like that. But like this week, in any given month, I could, if like a house fire took out all my possessions, in any given week, I could afford enough money to get another laptop, a large monitor so I can use that comfortably, probably a set of speakers, a reasonable microphone, and possibly an action camera.
Yeah.
I can build a TV studio with a couple of days' pay.
Yeah. I mean, that's I was given today two 22-inch monitors for nothing. I've got to go to Melbourne and get them.
Yeah.
But I was going to Melbourne anyway. Someone turned around and said, "I've just been given these by work. I don't want them. Does someone want to come and pick them up?" And I was like, "Yep, I have them."
Yeah.
And
like now you've got a 3-monitor hookup.
People just,
I mean, if you get a docking station for your Lenovo, I'm pretty sure you could run 3 monitors.
Well, I know I can run 3 off the S30.
Yeah,
because that has enough inputs off the board.
Yeah, you'll need an IBM, a Lenovo.
It's like a special
cable.
It goes from it goes from something to DVI.
Yeah. So you want a DVI cable and the adapter, or the Lenovo cable to DVI. Yeah,
but I got my stupidly big. I don't even know how big my monitor is. It's big enough that I posted a picture of it on the internet and went, "Ha ha, fuckers! This is hilarious." It was e-waste. It was a Lenovo branded 30-inch monitor.
Nice.
It cost me it was $150 and $20 postage in Australia.
Yeah.
And there was 20 of these things this guy was getting rid of that are coming out of some CAD company somewhere or other. I'm I literally plugged it in and went, "Why did someone get rid of these?"
Yeah.
It does 4K. It has everything on it you'd ever want it to have, and some companies just got rid of them as e-waste.
Yeah.
I don't know why. If my desk was bigger, I would have bought 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
It got to the point where I put it on the desk and went, "I can't fit anything else on the desk because I have a laptop there, so I can do one thing. I have the monitor sitting there, and I can't fit anything else on the desk."
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, that's why.
But that stuff's just now but all that stuff's now just junk. It is really some kind of weird cyber-esque, cyberpunk future where things are just thrown out. People just throw out iPads that still work. It's an iPad. Why do people throw out tablet computers that still work? That's just the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah. I do. I get that a lot.
Yeah. But no, I don't know. Yeah. But no, so I don't know whether breaking stuff down works. I don't know. It was one of those things that certainly the fitness side of it does, because
yeah, we're doing it.
That's proven by us running somewhere. Yeah, that proves by doing it. But I think that if you expect people to be able to work, to be able to walk for multiple days with a backpack on their back, then there should be the same kind of fitness regime that allows people to get there, and And it may well be just at the end of it that you just turn and say, okay, like, 3 days a week you just walk with, start with 10 kilos and then put an extra kilo in every week until you get to, 20 kilos.
I think the aim for a 5K run is not a bad one. Like, okay, so do 2 5K runs a week and make sure that you get out for a good hour just walking around with a weighted backpack, whether that's kit that you want to take into the woods and do interesting stuff with, or a few of your bench weights,
or just plates.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, like, if they're just plates or if they're...
I found some cheap ones.
If they're plates or if they're sandbags, then it's easy enough if you do need to dump them. Like no one's going to, a roll of duct tape and an old bloody feed bag and some play sand is far easier to go, I've bent my elbow, I'll just turf those out and my backpack doesn't weigh 5 kilos, so I know I can get back down the hill, with this stick behind me. If you do twist your ankle, hurt yourself.
Yeah, the local charity shop's got a big crate of weights. I think there's about 60 kilos in there.
Perfect.
And I asked how much they wanted, and they were saying, "Oh, it's a tenner." And I was like,
Jesus.
Yeah, I'll have that. I mean, they're old school 1980s vinyl discs. But,
but they still work. Like
I've still got the 1-inch hole, so I can still use all my dumbbell weights. So I reckon I can probably get up to about 80, 85, maybe even my body weight, depending on how much space I've got on the bar. So come Friday, I'm going to wander down and get those. I'm not looking forward to that, but I am going to get the bus down and get the bus back. I'm not going to yomp all the way back because I don't feel like that. But and then get a barbell bar and go, right, okay. Now I need to.
I mean, there's only four things you need to know how to do. It's not hard.
Yeah.
Strength training isn't rocket science.
And just going, right, okay, I want to be able to bench press me. If I can lift me, then I can fireman carry one other person. I can pick up another person. And move with them. That's my. I'm looking at extremely practical goals. Can I run?
Yeah, exactly.
Can I run with weight? Can I lift another person? Can I do? Do I know enough about first aid? Am I capable of looking after myself in a confrontation? Like, right, okay. And then it will be things like, can I shoot a firearm safely? There's a There's an interesting rifle range nearby-ish. I might go there with Dean because Dean's coming up in 3 weeks, and just say, look, do you want to do something interesting? Should we go and fire? To go to the gun club? Or, I'll phone them up in the intervening few weeks and say, look, I think it's about a tenner to pay for your ammunition and targets and stuff like that, and they'll give you a 2.2. You blaze away with 50 rounds, and they give you a gun safety course. And just go, right, let's go and blaze away. Let's fire a bunch of rounds and go, this is the sort of thing I want to do regularly. And also with a 2.2, I'll be allowed to shoot it left-handed, and I'll be able to really see what sort of shot I am with an actual firearm.
No, I mean, I do miss getting out of mine as much as I used to before the small person came along and needed attention. But I can say the same thing. Where have I put dog now? Where is dog gone? Excuse me while I whistle again. Where'd you go? Somewhere. Like I can see. Well, I suppose that's the thing. It's you get kids and you get a dad bod. That's the idea of it, isn't it? And you have to resist that urge to.
No,
you have to resist
it's
that
pretty
urge
funny.
to.
Even my ex-wife sort of said, "Oh, you've lost weight."
Jesus.
And it's like, yeah, I've been running.
Surely a good thing.
Yeah. It's like, no.
People noticing. I find it weird. I found it weird the other day. I hadn't seen one of the chefs, I started working with when I started in the kitchen game. And she walked up to me and gave me a big hug and she went, Jesus Christ, you've lost some weight, haven't you? And you're looking like, fit. And she's like, because I've known her for like 3 or 4 years now. She's lifted up my shirt to check out my gut, and I don't have a gut anymore type thing. She's like, bloody hell, what have you been doing? And I'm like, I literally started exercising You know, not just taking the dog for a walk. I literally started doing some exercise and actually training. You know, at that stage it was like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That is a change. All I did was stop eating so much crap.
I think that's the big
portion
difference.
out portion out food properly and go for it and go get some exercise.
Yeah. Well, my daughter was quite impressed. I started talking to her about habit forming and brain chemistry and stuff like that, and she was like really interested.
Yeah.
And it was just like, look, it's a small change.
Yeah.
You just got to eat less crap, basically. That whole eat less crap, sort of no carbonated drinks, no refined sugars, no
artificial
sweeteners, and no, what was the other one?
Processed food.
Just avoid that, and then eat more fruit and veg, eat more omega-3, eat more organic.
Yeah.
Was it organic fatty acids, and drink more water.
Yeah.
And it's really weird because a load of people, because I used to put like a litre jug of Diet Coke on the side and go through that in a day.
Yeah.
And I've stopped that. I've just started putting water and ice. So it's just really cold water. That's all I'm drinking on a shift.
Yeah.
And the only two things I drink are coffee and water. And the coffee is mostly one cafetiere of coffee in the morning.
Even that. Yeah, and even that though, you look at how many, even no matter what else it has in it, look at how many calories, the average serving of Coke has in it.
Yeah.
And then compare it to water.
Well, it's something like 260
if you drink
calories as opposed to 0 for a can of Coke.
Yeah. For a can of Coke,
and 0.
It adds up very, very quickly.
And you're just like thinking, I watch people go through litres and litres of Coke a day. And you're just like, that cannot be doing you any good.
Yeah.
Just stop.
The other one that does me, the other one I find phenomenal, all the chefs at my work do it. They all drink fucking energy drinks. They
it's just like, what is it
it's
exactly
just like,
that
what
you're
the
doing?
fuck are you drinking that shit for? It doesn't even taste nice.
Yeah.
If you want to have a cup of coffee because you want to wake up a bit, there's a...
Oh, I think we lost you. Lost you completely.
There's like more fucking sugar than there is in a Coke.
Oh yeah.
So it's like you're not addicted to, you're not getting it for a caffeine hit. You're getting it for the sugar, mate.
Yeah. And it's hugely processed sugar.
Yeah.
And the
no, it's all the worst fucking sugar that you can possibly think of sticking in your body.
The only thing that you can do to mitigate that and reduce this just stupendous amount of calories. If you're drinking an energy drink, why are you drinking a sugar-free one? Just go for, if you need that amount of calories that quickly, have the sugar, Oh, I've lost you again. I wonder if it's me. Do the 5 seconds connection to Australia.
And we'll try that.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
There we go.
Yeah.
I walked down the corner. There you go. I don't know what's going on with that.
I mean, with radio waves being so far apart, you could have just, been between a big heavy-duty tree and a mast and not known it.
Yeah.
Your line of sight could have been so reduced by the fact you were close to a tree that was between you and the mast that it shot you out.
Yeah.
It's still amazing. Yeah, I don't understand.
And I was near enough because I've gone in a big loop. I was near enough coming down where I lost you last time.
Yeah.
So it must be something about that point.
There's a black spot. That's worth knowing, though.
Yeah.
You might want to take a little spray can and just put a little red circle on the tree, and just in case you need to be out of contact, this is a good place to be.
This is a good place to stand.
Yes. But yeah, I don't know. The whole energy drink thing is amazing. It's just like you're not doing anything to warrant this amount of calories.
No, yeah, exactly. And it's like, and if you're like, I mean, what does me? I don't know if you're the same, but we don't get we don't get a meal before service, which I think is, I think in hospitality, I think it's absolutely criminal that you're expecting people to be on their feet for upwards for 5 hours and not stop cooking food, and it's bloody hard yak, like it really is, hard work, and it's like, don't you get if you've got everyone to come in half an hour early, pay them their 15 minutes and then cook for them and cook them something healthy and made them all sit down and eat together, then you would have not only a better working team, for the whole of service, you get more work out of them. Yeah, their mind wouldn't be wandering. They'd be drinking less shit and all the rest of the type of thing. But they just won't do it. There's not enough time. And it's like, just make a batch of soup up. Like, just serve whatever. Like, how hard is it to make, like, a fucking, a vegetable soup?
Well,
and serve that to everyone who's on for dinner service.
One of the best sort of like dip in and grab it when it's quiet meals I've ever had was we made a big pot of rice and then put all the leftovers from a cooked breakfast around the campfire and just put it into a Dutch oven. So there was about 2 pounds of rice mixed in with chopped up bits of sausage and bacon and tomato and stuff like that, with all the juices from the pan. It was probably about 3 sausages, 4 rashers of bacon, and a handful of chopped up mushrooms. Stirred that into the rice, left it in the Dutch oven to keep warmish. And we just came and got food from that all day.
So once you went the right way.
But that was a great meal. That would be a great meal to dip into because you know what's in it. It's like if you can't name every ingredient in something, it's probably not that good for you.
No, exactly.
You can't tell me. It's like the stopping eating meat. And I'm trying to remember the last time. Yesterday I had a cafe breakfast, so that had sausages and bacon. But before that, it's mostly vegetarian.
But, and that's the thing is, like, it's all right to, you finally go out and splurge once in a while and, have something different, because it is a treat. It's only gonna boost your morale to go and do it type stuff. But it's when it's an everyday occurrence that it's a problem. I
want to stock up on mackerel. But
that was the other thing I was going to talk to you about. Actually, that was the thing I was not necessarily for this year, but the ration thing really struck me as being I got onto it because of a guy
they want you
who I watch
to raise 350 quid. Which is a lot of money to try and raise. I don't mind the I'd rather run it for myself. Say, right, okay, this week I'm living off refugee rations. I've weighed everything out
because it's easy enough to make it up.
It's only lentils, chickpeas,
a tin of red kidney beans, a tin of sardines, oil, flour, and rice.
I think we can make
that literally
up and just say, right, okay, we're living on refugee rations. We go to the ration thing and just say, right, we're going to be sending you a check. And say, right, for this week, Urban Agoge is accepting donations to the charity that's doing it. I don't know how much we'll raise. But me and whoever wants to join in are living off refugee rations for a week. And if you want to send in some money to support that, but we're also going to raise awareness as to we're going to be keeping up with our exercise, but we're just going to be trying to get creative with this. Or do a bug out. Do a week-long bug out, or a 5-day bug out, where we live off refugee rations for a week. Because it looks pretty portable. And just say, right, we're going to.
I think so.
We're going to be making. I'm going into the woods. Could I do it for a week? I'll go somewhere wild camping for a week. And live off refugee rations and filtered water. This is the refugee ration. This is the charity that's doing it. I wasn't certain I could raise 350 quid, but now that I've got this reach, this many subscribers, any money you send between now and when the week ends, because you'd still be having fun doing the wild camping thing.
Yeah.
And you say, right,
And it would be an awful like, and everyone I've watched or read about doing it says it's awfully taxing in terms of what, you know. I think most people just had this affront of nature when it was like they couldn't drink tea or coffee,
yeah,
and it's like, yeah, that shit's gonna fuck you up. Like, you know, for a week you can't drink coffee. It's like that's gonna mess with most people who drink half a dozen cups of coffee a day.
yeah,
You know, just the down rush in adrenaline from not drinking coffee. You know, if I don't drink, I stopped drinking tea a while ago now.
mm,
If I don't drink a cup of tea in the morning and I stop, 2 days later I've got a headache.
mm,
You know, and it takes me about 2 days to get rid of that headache.
yeah,
You know, but it's just like, I know what it is. I know what the feeling is. You know, I don't feel lethargic or anything. I literally just get a migraine for 2 days. It's purely just the come down off the fucking caffeine in tea.
yeah.
You know, same thing with coffee. You know, the only difference now is because I know what it is. I just drink decaf coffee.
Yeah, I mean, if I was wild camping, I'd go for things like pine needle tea.
Yeah,
Because I think if you can scavenge something, then you can have it.
yeah,
But it'd be interesting to do it for a week and just go, not only are we going, you know, to this refugee diet, but we're also we're wild camping while we do it. So we're providing ourselves with our own shelter, our own warmth. We're gone, you know.
yeah,
Hopefully we can upload stuff or live stream some. You know, we could document it properly with cameras and shoot, and then edit it together, and then just there'll be an hour-long video that people who have sponsored us to do it can watch on Vimeo or something like that with a password.
Yeah.
Or you'll get sent a link to a private video on YouTube that won't be made available for a month. Yeah. So if you want to watch the actual video as it comes out, there's a minimum donation to this charity of $2 or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then go right. And then once we've compiled what money we've made from that, we send them a check or we send them a payment.
Yeah.
And just go,
and that will get around, of course.
We didn't between us raise £700, but we raised 200 quid.
But here's some money.
And we lived off it. And if you want to use the video for promotion for next year, feel free.
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't think we could raise that kind of money. I mean, that's a very middle class sort of thing to go for. That's a lot of money. I mean, there should be a way to participate. I don't understand why they don't have a way to participate where you can do the thing, you buy your own food, you weigh it all out. You know, this is your flour, this is your rice, these are your chickpeas and your tin of red kidney beans. You know, it's only about £4 worth of food. Yeah. And then then you send in whatever money you make from sponsorship.
Whatever money you make, yeah. You know, that's the thing, is they are very much working on the scope of you bloody blackberry bush. Sorry, I walked into a blackberry bush. Bit hard to see in the dark. Hard to tell different things apart. Yeah, I suppose it's like, you know, it's that thing of it is very middle class in terms of, like, you know, being able to just drop £350 on, you know, what is essentially a week's very painful holiday at home.
Yeah.
You know, and doing good, but, like, you know, it's you know, your average person can't do that. Whereas I was more looking at it from the experience of, you know, what will you learn, you know, and what mindset will it put you in to almost like live through that thing, like not live through it, but almost like put yourself through that idea, you know. And I think, you know, I was dreading having to go to work and do it. I think your idea is much better, because I think, you know, I like going to work for fucking 4 days and work in the kitchen for 4 days, 5 days a week, and doing it. It's just like, it'd be bloody lethal, you know. You know, you'd rip someone's head off by the end of the week.
Yeah, I think it'd be a tough call. But I think if you went and bushcrafted it as well, and live streamed snippets here and there from your phone, and just went, right, this is me, this is my setup, this is my food for the week. You know, I'd have to do it somewhere close enough that I can come back and feed the cat. Yeah. And, you know, this is me live streaming. You know, I've built my shelter. This is me living off refugee food. Isn't this interesting type thing? Yeah. But I think... and then
all money raised goes to...
Yeah, all the money raised... Goes to
donation to actually, like, you know...
Goes to that refugee rations charity. And just send them a check out of the blue and say, look, we did this. I made... You know, we put together this video. we shot it. I got the video from Australia of someone else doing it, and maybe we could have convinced someone else, yet another person, to do it somewhere else, like in America.
Yeah.
And these are people that have got bushcraft skills and, you know, upgraded their food with stuff they could find in the wild, but not by much.
But
you know, we're talking pine needles and a few mushrooms and maybe the odd fish.
Yeah.
You know, because there are definitely trout in the river that's nearest me.
There are definitely no trout in the river that's closest to me.
Yeah, no, there definitely are. There's a like a very sort of gradual waterfall, and all the adult trout sit underneath the waterfall waiting for stuff to come to them, like they do. And it's just like, I reckon I could get in there early enough in the morning, bang a line in. I reckon I could get a trout if I could get access to some worms. Because when they're under a waterfall, the water's churned up, so their vision isn't as important as the movement.
Is impaired, yeah.
You know, I reckon I could get a trout or two out of there, no problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that would be more our speed. You know, who knows? We could raise more than £700 between the two of us.
Yeah, and you know, and that's a good thing, and it can go somewhere useful and do something useful with it.
Yeah.
You know, it certainly seemed like a worthy cause. You know, to try and put some effort behind. It seemed like an interesting thing to go and play with.
Yeah.
You know, Tilda was very worried that I would be at home and therefore I'd be very cranky when I was hungry.
Yeah.
She's like, "No, you're not doing it." I'm like, "Why not?" She's like, "Because you're like the worst person ever when you get hungry."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "That is true."
Yeah, I've definitely seen some mushrooms out in the woods that are edible, and we've definitely got some pine trees out there.
Whoop.
So I think I'd be all right with pine needle tea. Water would get boring and old very quickly. But yeah, I reckon I could take a light bushcrafting pack and get out there. Ah, lost him again. He's found another gum tree to walk behind. Do. So yeah, we got plans for Urban Agoge. Not even sure whether I should continue to record. This is just a very random thing. We were on a chat and decided to do this. He's still online. Just send him a message. So yes. So I'm going to leave that call just in case he does come back. We'll give it a couple of minutes. So yes, so if you're listening to this, we're going to be doing these sort of podcasty type bits from time to time, because it allows us to communicate together and you get to see where we're going with it. And yeah, we're both, myself and Harlequin, are doing bits of research into fitness, nutrition, wild camping, prepping, all sorts of stuff like that. And if you want something other to read, what I'll do is if you look at the links below this particular recording on YouTube, there should be a link to the there's a Norwegian document called "If Crisis or War Comes" that's been translated into English, which is extremely interesting. And it's Sweden. The Swedish population have basically issued this. Oh, we got him back. Dude, can you hear me? 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me, man? No, there's nothing. Let me come out of it and then join it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything? Anything? Anything at all? Is actually in a dense thicket of trees. So yeah, so what I'll do is I'll upload the Swedish preparedness thing, and that's got like a really good list of stuff to have involved in it, because they're expecting the entire Swedish population to prepare themselves for any kind of invasion or something or anything like that, including make a space to make notes, what you should store, what the alerts mean, and all that sort of gubbins. So yeah, so that's a pretty interesting document, and I'll upload this to the whole podcast. Will be on archive.org along with this document, so you can actually have a look at it, because I think prepping's pretty interesting. But yeah, I can't remember what the doohickey for. It's the ration challenge. Let's see if we got him. Hello.
Right, you pitted me back now.
Yep, I've got you now.
That's all right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so I was just talking about filling people in on the ration challenge in UK 2019.
Yep.
So I'll also put a link down below to that.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, if people want to, if people want to do it themselves, then go and do it yourself. Sort of thing. Like,
it's part of Concern Worldwide.
Yeah.
And if you were to do it, and you could raise the £350, they'll send you, I think, just about a pound of rice, half a pound of lentils, not very much, 85 grams of dried chickpeas, a can of red kidney beans, some sardines, and some vegetable oil, and then you put in stuff for flour.
Yeah, and flour and rice. That you can get more flour and rice.
Yeah, I think that you're allowed to have a couple of pounds of rice.
Yeah,
so that's if you look at that diet, that's probably a pretty good diet for you, as long as it wasn't enforced.
Yeah, I think you're missing, like, because there's no green veg as such, is what the real issue with it is, and there's not a lot of. I was reading something or other. I was either reading or listening to something or other. It was talking about this exact ration that people get as refugees, and the real issue they have is like fresh fruit and veg is not available, obviously because it's a war-torn country, but also the lack of metabolizable iron isn't there, but that is changeable. Like, obviously, not for the fucking challenge, but that's changeable in terms of the ration, because all you have to do is increase the red lentil count to slightly more, and people get a daily allowance of iron from red lentils. I think was what it was from. Maybe it was some other beans, but I don't know which one it round up was. But certainly, like, it's purely it's definitely a challenge for people because of just going cold turkey on down to a diet of 1,750 calories. From whatever the hell it is you're eating. That's where the challenge comes into it for most people, I think.
Yeah.
And the complete change in diet. Yeah, I don't think it would do anyone any harm. Like, I would certainly wouldn't stick my 7-year-old on it, but just everyone else who was grown up enough would be like, yeah, go and do it, because you bloody you need to see what it's like. And maybe you should kick him some bloody, maybe you should kick him whatever it is you can this week. Oh, obviously everyone can't, not everyone's got disposable income, whatever, or they're in debt or whatever. But if you can, then certainly doing your utmost to reduce what refugees are put through in conflict zones, is certainly something worthwhile. These people will be people too.
Yeah,
type thing.
I think if you move someone's mind, and these are the lucky refugees.
Yeah,
you eat what they eat for a week, and then you consider these are the people that have made it. Those are the people that have successfully got to a refugee camp.
Yeah, out of the country they were stuck in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like there isn't any space in the world.
Exactly.
I just think, it was like, right, okay, your government is taking a stand. I don't care how much you don't want refugees in your country. Screw you. We're going to do the right thing. We've got especially in the UK, we've got a long history of shamefully turning away refugees who have later died, including the kinder transports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is just, it's as bad as the recent Windrush scandal. We've turned people away, and they have died because we've turned them away. and it's unforgivable. I mean, when you look at huge countries where there's a lot of open space, it's like, guys, you know, you've got that many unemployed people in your country. You could literally build a town from scratch, employ a whole bunch of people to build a town for refugees.
Yeah.
And I bet you, if you basically say, right, we there's not a lot of urban space, so what we've done is we're building a new, it's a town right now. It will be a new city.
Yeah.
You're all going to live there, people, but there are going to be jobs. You know, there's administration jobs, so we need to have people move there. It's not going to be an entire city with only one sort of culture in it. You know, there will be people. We will be offering people reasonably well-paid jobs, and like on-the-job training to do certain stuff. So if you wanted to go into city administration, but you had zero qualifications, they say, right, you can do an HND in administrative management.
Administration,
You know, you can go from nothing, you know, with zero qualifications, and we'll qualify you for useful stuff. You know, that town is going to need, you know, it's a brand new town. It needs police, it needs teachers, it needs nurses and doctors, and, you know, and we're aware that we can't tempt the very best to go there.
Yeah.
So how about we ask a few doctors to move? There's a few things that you need. You need civil engineers, and you can't fudge that qualification. You need doctors.
No.
You need a few supervising teachers. And then we will take anybody of any qualification level. And if you wanted to emigrate to Australia, you've got to work. You can move to Australia. You've got to live in a new town for 5 years.
Yeah,
That's
which is
fair.
what they do. I think that's what they do for.
We'll qualify you.
Yeah.
We'll make you relevant to the rest of Australia. You'll have been a new town teacher or a new town paramedic or a new town police officer for 5 years, and then you can live anywhere else.
Yeah.
You know, but in order to be a new town person, you've got to have usable English. You know, you've got to have at least, you know, a GC, you know, low grade.
And that's the thing is, I think that most of these people who are, I think most of these people who are coming out of these war-torn countries, I think, you know, the large majority of them are so well equipped in terms, you know, even with all the shit they've been through, I think they're so well equipped to turn around and actually make something of themselves.
Yeah.
And they have drive and passion to go and actually become something of themselves and not be a burden on society.
But what a way to experiment with a completely eco-friendly
proven time and time again.
You know, okay, so we're going to be heating the town with geothermal energy. All the electricity,
and all the electricity is solar and bloody wind turbines, and you know, and all the hot water comes from solar hot water systems, and you know, you built them all and you made them all here.
Every street has a communal fruit and veg garden.
Yeah,
you know, they're built around. There are no individual gardens. It's just like a group, little bit of a park for the kids to sit around in. You know, a veg bay. You know, fruit trees, grapes, all the shit that will grow really well.
Yeah.
And we're going to go from the get-go. Look, you know, come to this with, you know, and appreciate it for the gift that living here is. Don't vandalise stuff. This is yours. We're building it. You're helping to build it. And the refugees come in and go, right, we now need to train you in construction and infrastructure and stuff like that because we want to expand this into a city. So we're building you a town first with a school, a hospital, you know, a town coordinator's office and building. You know, there will be a police station. We've got to look after you. You know, there will be a civil defence barracks. You know, and out from that we'll build, say, 20 streets. And then we've got it working as a town. Right next door, we're going to build another town. And once we've got 6 of these towns, it'll be a city. But it'll all be low rise. It'll all look after itself.
To the extent that like Melbourne Garden City and places like that were, you know, planned out, like, you know, have planned garden cities.
Yeah.
You know. And there's no reason why that can't work, you know. And I'm pretty sure there was some research done. I don't know, you know, I'm sure someone will probably poke a hole in it somewhere along the line, but I'm sure there was research done in terms of Australia that said that for every immigrant you allowed in, for every, like, you know, refugee you allowed in, you actually created more value by letting someone in than what you did do by stopping them from coming in.
Yes, it costs way more to stop one person coming in than it does to have one
coming
person
in. Than it does to actually it does to bring them over and then actually you know, have people employed to teach them and get them engaged in community and therefore they make a job and then they start paying taxes and they do all this stuff.
And their children generally tend to go to university. Their children generally get good jobs and pay shitloads of taxes, especially generations 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah,
it's
because
like,
they're all
are you
wound up
telling
with
me,
like, we are going to succeed because we've been given this chance.
yeah, what really are you
know.
going to need to build in order to have all those people have access to a virtual university?
Yeah,
You know, what
you're going
is
to have
that
to
going
lay
to cost?
data cable.
Nothing. You need like a big
Yeah,
fat
nothing.
internet
Yeah,
pipe and e-waste.
yeah,
You know, you could
yeah,
literally send like a convoy of trucks into Sydney and pick up all Sydney's e-waste. You know, all
e-waste,
the
and just take it
monitors,
down
all
there
the
and just plug it into a
computers.
library computer.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
building you a huge network of stuff, and
yeah,
we're gonna pipe you into the internet, and we're gonna give you access.
yeah,
And you know, we'll make it part of every teacher's contract that they record at least 3 YouTube videos on subjects that we
yeah,
need to know about.
yep,
You know, you don't. You know, you can. There is so much. It's just lying around. I just think, will somebody
yeah,
please
exactly.
do this? Wouldn't it be an amazing thing for the Canadians to do? I can see Canada doing
Yeah,
it. Canada building a
yeah,
refugee city. You know, if they were doing it in Australia, I would move to Australia to get that accomplished.
yeah,
I
yeah.
go, right, I want to go to the one country in the world that's building a refugee town.
Well,
from the
that's the
ground
thing
up.
is, like, you talk about things you can go and do. Like, you'd fucking move there just to help it happen, wouldn't you? You know, because what's the like, what really, as I pointed out to someone today, I was pointing out to someone today in the real world. Like, what's the reason why I live where I live? Like, it's very pretty. I'll give you that. It's a lovely, pretty place to live. Yeah, but otherwise, there is nothing here
Yeah, it's
that makes any
nothing
differences
keeping
to
you
where
there.
I live.
Yeah,
No, like the kids are here, and that's it. Like, it's like my friend, the extended family's here on the other side, and that's what we're here to be close to. But that's it. I'm in this location for my kids to go to school at the schools they chose to go to, not any other reason. And that's it. It's not because there's any better opportunities here, because there's not. There's actually worse opportunities here than most other places in Australia. If I moved, into the city, either one, or even across the country to the other city, then I would be, far more in demand in terms of work skills. I could walk into Sydney and work and get a job.
yeah.
I could walk into Melbourne and get a job. And be far more used to society than what I'm currently doing.
Yeah.
It does suit me to go on. It does suit me to go and mooch about in the kitchen. But it's not where I'm trained to do all my qualifications are.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm not really qualified to do anything outside of via experience.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I do. I don't have a.
But that's the thing is, like,
job.
I would quite happily move to wash dishes. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I would quite happily move. If a volcano erupted in the middle of fucking Australia and we all had to move to England, I'd quite happily go and wash dishes in England for a job.
I think
I'd quite happily go and cut up onions.
I could probably get some excitement around teaching if I could be sure I was teaching people that wanted to learn. If somebody said, "Will you be a primary school teacher in a refugee town?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because you know that the only person who's disenfranchised is only disenfranchised because of the shit they've been put through as a kid.
Yeah.
And you know that they're only that as much as that kid might rebel or whatever else, the worst it's going to be is that kid is just fighting for some love because of the shit they've been through.
Yeah.
And
you could sort of say,
that's completely.
just go, right. Okay. We need to talk to this particular kid. If somebody's been through actual trauma, then fair enough. I would happily work with a child that had been traumatized. When somebody is just an arsehole because they've been raised by parents that didn't give a monkeys, and that 80% of the if I wouldn't want to teach in an English school.
No.
Why would
you? No, because where are you putting your energy?
Yeah, you're basically trying to keep it. You're basically a zookeeper rather than a teacher, and I don't want to be a zookeeper.
Yeah, and that's where the distinction needs to be made. Is like to go back a step. It's these kids that are coming over, who are coming out of war-torn zone, war zones. They're gonna fucking fight to be there. They're gonna
still see
they're gonna fight to see something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're going to be proven to school as a privilege. There's something to be said. For people who haven't watched it, if anyone's listening still, if you haven't seen it, go and watch the first series of the UK Brat Camp. It was a phenomenal series. The later ones are crap rubbish, right? The original first series was a phenomenal bit of psychology teaching in terms of what they did. They took all these malaligned little, like, twat bags from England, and took them off to somewhere in the New Mexico desert, or somewhere around there type thing, Nevada, New Mexico, somewhere in there, and basically had them walking around on rice and lentils and porridge, climbing up and down mountains, learning how to light fires, and writing down and learning to write, and saying, you don't go home until you realise that this is the lowest point in your life.
Yeah,
The next step from here is you on drug dependence, or you doing something with yourself.
Yeah.
Now do something with yourself. It's not hard. And I think there's an awful lot of. I think there should be more of that.
Yeah.
For young people, more of that for old people.
Well, people are very discomfort averse.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh look, all the interesting stuff is the other side of that fence.
Yeah. The grass is always greener, but you've got to get over a prickly bloody fence to get to it.
Yeah. And it is, when you've actually got some sort of goals, even if they're only goals that you have.
Yeah.
I think my daughter's, because I haven't spent a great deal of time with my daughter, because the relationship did fall apart pretty badly. But now she's sort of like realised why I might have wandered off and just gone, no, I can't do this. And she's coming to Manchester in August, so she might actually be on camera, because I don't, because I think Mum's got something to do in Manchester for the whole day, so I'm going to book the day off and just say, right, okay, we'll go over to mine and we'll go for a wander in the woods.
Yeah.
And we're just going to not do the central Manchester thing. Come over, have a hot chocolate or whatever you want, and then we'll go for a walk in the woods. It'll be August, so it'll be nice.
Yeah.
And we'll just go for a wander, and I'll show her a few things, and we'll go and have a bit of a bimble about.
Yep.
I might get her to wear some sensible shoes, sensible clothes, and sensible shoes, please. We're going to be doing a bit of a wander.
No. And that's the thing is, I don't think it's you're constantly fighting with kids. I think it's universal. I think you're constantly fighting with kids in that there's so much. There's just more and more distraction. There's just more and more crap you can wrap your head into. Just cotton wool, levels of just like mind-numbing drug, that you can wrap your head into.
Well, I remember when there was only one Forbidden Planet in London. Forbidden Planet was a bookstore in London, and it was a bookstore.
Yes.
So you'd go in and you find all these really weird books that you couldn't get anywhere else, like remaindered science fiction and stuff like that were like 50p a book, and you'd pick up an armload of books, and that would be pretty much it. Yeah. I think you could buy things like Dungeons and Dragons supplements, and you could buy Japanese anime redubbed videos, but that was probably about it. And now when you go into Forbidden Planet, the comic book section, which used to be what they did, is relegated to the basement in nearly all Forbidden Planet stores.
Yeah, it's like a corner in the basement now.
And the rest of it is just stuff. It's like, vinyl figures and, there's...
Yeah, just tat.
And my daughter's still into all this sort of tat. She goes, oh, I really wish I had one of those. And it's just like, why?
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything.
But what she needs is a 3D printer, and she can 3D print all of them.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would buy her a 3D printer if that's what she wanted, but she doesn't.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to get one.
But
I think that needs to be the next Urban Agoge piece of equipment to buy.
Purchase.
And just say, right, okay, they're now 90 quid. I think they're 90 quid.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Let's have a look and see if they've gone down, because they were 90 quid about
losing my dog
6 months ago.
Come here, dog. You've gone completely the wrong way, mate.
Okay, so the Prusa kit, which is the most hackable 3D printer that exists.
That's the most hackable one, yes.
And it's the one where they've got loads of things that you can print to make it actually function better.
Yep, yeah.
And it'll print in flexible PLA, ABS, nylon filament, and PLA. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I can buy that over the counter if I wanted to.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a build. It's a bit of a hassle to build.
Yeah.
And it uses a memory slot for a micro SD card. That's how you get the stuff onto it, and it uses a little LCD
Onto it, yeah.
screen.
That's how you get your CAD designs on there, yeah.
Yeah. And it looks like it's board or aluminium. And that looks like it's not going to be a nightmare to put together, but it will be like many hours of putting together.
Yeah.
And it will print 200mm by 200mm by 180mm.
So plenty big enough to start doing stuff and then building the next one, which is like, that's the trick is you build the next one with the one you built last. Your first print should be a replacement part of every part you can build.
I mean, you can build. There's a few things. There's like a nozzle fan duct that makes it better.
Yeah,
and
that makes it work better. And then
there's a little chain link cage that you can build.
Yeah,
but it's getting to about a tenner a kilo for the filament.
Yeah,
in whatever colour you want to use. But this one's 86 quid including postage. So that's, I think.
Yep.
What I'll do is I'll either save up for the next 3 or 4 months to put that 86 quid together, or if people want to see an ordinary person tackle a 3D printer.
Yeah, then that's where the money's going.
That's where it's going now, because I think I've got all the camera equipment I can usefully use.
Yeah, yeah.
But if I think if you want, okay, so that's a bit of a shout out to you. If you want to see me try and put together a 3D printer and use it, because I do have some ideas for useful shit for 3D printers. Like I've got one of these little things that actually collects rainwater off the side of your tarp.
Yep.
And it's like a little funnel with a screw fitting, so you can screw in one of those little water bottles to it. So and it's a tensioner. So when it's raining, your tarp kind of sags. So you hang this thing off one of the contact points in the middle of each side.
Yep.
With a piece of string, and it's got a little funnel on it, and it funnels all the water into it, and then it goes in. It filters out any bits and bobs with a little fine wire mesh, like a pipe screen, and you screw in a standard, 500ml water bottle into the bottom of it.
Oh, please don't take my dog with you.
It just filters off a litre of water for you, so it's collecting the water that you need for coffee and breakfast is just being filled. Is being sieved and just stored for you, and it's just rainwater. So it's water you probably want to boil, but I reckon you could print those. I reckon once you had a 3D printer and a bit of imagination and a bit of a play with some CAD software, with 200mm by 180mm, I could build some pretty awesome equipment trays.
Awesome things.
You could definitely build some cool equipment trays for things like camera parts and cables and shit like that.
Yeah.
And housings for things like a complete housing for the night vision goggles. Yeah. So all the components, including the camera, are all housed on top of the actual goggle screen layout. So I think we could do some interesting things with a 3D printer. I think we'd keep coming up with stuff. And you're qualified in CAD. So what you're doing in a CAD program. All you do is you take a CAD file, you bung it through.
It's easy enough to do. Bung it through an STL process, and it just spits you out of bits and pieces.
Copy the file to the micro SD card. Job done. Just leave it to print.
Yeah.
So we could do some awesome things with that.
Yeah. I think that the local bicycle group has now lost my dog for me.
All right.
Would be my suggestion. That's always nice of them. If you're a member of the local Yakananda bicycle group, then be warned that next time you go past me, I'm going to stick a stick in your fucking spokes for you taking my dog for a run. Because they do this whenever I see them and it's dark. They ride past me without a bell, which is offensive, and they don't slow down, even though they know that I'm here, because I'm wearing high vis, so they know that I'm here, and I've got a torch on my head so that people don't fucking, aren't worried about me. And they decide to ride past me. So if you're on a bicycle and you don't have a bell on it, then you are the person I'm going to spear. There you go. That's your warning, universe, because you are offensive.
Man, those Prusa printers are getting cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah, they do, and that's the thing is, like, they're easily hackable. They are, they've evolved to the point of being simplicity themselves now.
Yeah, but not that many people are using them. I bet you could probably if you could probably do it, have a really good go at sort of like having a business where you assembled them for people.
Yeah.
Where you just went, okay, buy a Prusa kit. I will assemble it for say 40
I will
quid.
assemble it for you.
Because I bet your second, third, fourth, and fifth, and so on builds of these printers.
Yeah. Yeah, go a lot better.
Oh, they've even got ones.
There's a lot to be said for having a heated plate, and there's a lot to be said for having it for having a hotbed plate rather.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said for having an auto leveling kit on the damn things to make them actually leveled out and flat. And that gets rid of a lot of the issue you have with them.
Yeah. They've got ones with even bigger, 220 by 220 by 240 mil print area.
Yeah. Come here now. Come here now.
Upgraded
Come
3D
here now.
printer.
Stop it. I can't believe you didn't run home, dog. Pepper, come here.
Oh, here we go. Mark III heated bed.
Oi! Giddy. Giddy. Come here now. Come here. It's me, you idiot. Come here. Pepper! Please excuse my dog, everyone. She is scared witless of bicycle riders in the dark. Which is fair enough, because bicycle riders in the dark are like, Pepper, come here. Here. You're a border collie. The only thing you're not scared of is, come here. Filthy dog. Get here. Oh, you fucking cunt. Pardon my French. It's just like, must you do this?
Every time.
Here! It's like you can't ride together. Yeah. Come here, puppy. Pepper, come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come here. No, she's gone. Fucking cunt.
Oh,
Pardon my French.
She'll find you.
Oh no, she'll go home. She'll run home. That's the thing is.
All right.
But you get scared with them when they don't. They just ride past like morons. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Here. Stay there. Don't go anywhere. Right. I know. Don't run off.
No,
right. One dog.
3D printers are just stupid cheap. They look like a bit of a faff to put together. I'm counting about 30 bolts. But
there's a couple of hundred in one of them. I know because I put one together before.
Yeah, the one I'm looking at is mostly plywood. So there's less of this sort of like snappable plastic and less of those stupid tension bolts for doing right angles.
Yeah.
You literally bolt this thing together. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Yeah.
Probably about 30 bolts on the whole thing, which is a lot less than the plastic ones. And fair enough, the bed is spring loaded rather than self-leveling, but it doesn't look impossible to level once you've got it set up.
No, but it's also leveling it. It's not the program to level itself is there's like an add-on bit you can get on the kit where it comes down and does a touch interface.
All right.
On the board, and that's where it does it, and it's a very simple thing to add on to a type thing because it's literally like it's an extra contact switch to know where the level is.
Yeah.
You're only talking about half dozen points across the board, and it knows where flat is across the whole thing, type thing.
Oh right,
which is very cool.
Yes, I'm looking at it now. It's There's a little
There's one that's
There's an infrared
There's one that's
one.
like an infrared thing, or Yeah, it's an infrared one. There's also one that's based on a contact switch. I think the infrared one works a lot better because it gives you a more.
Yeah, it's
I
like
think it gives you a
£7.
flatter. Yeah,
It's like, you know, bolt this
it's
onto
nothing.
the
It's nothing to
printhead
sort of do it.
and it'll level
Yeah, and then it
for
just
you.
runs along, and then like allows you to. It tells the printer where flat is, top thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be an expensive
But no,
add-on.
I think
But this is the one.
no. I think because everything on them is sort of like because everything's been added onto them, you know, just hacked and hacked and hacked.
Yeah.
They are a faff to get them working. You know, you're talking about what was basically, you know, Linux, you know, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you're talking about. You're talking about, you know, GNU Linux 15 years ago when things didn't quite work, you know, the way they should do. And someone had built a company around the whole idea of making it work.
Yeah.
But they hadn't quite made it profitable. And they, you know, and it didn't quite last long enough.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about the difference between, like, you know, AT&T providing you with Unix and Sun OS being run by Solaris Systems, you know, and then you're talking about the original, like, you know, I can put an X386 version of GNU Linux on my computer system, and things got broken on the way.
Yeah.
You know,
but it's amazing.
but if you can get
they're
one
a bigger
running,
deal in
you can
somewhere
make some
like
magic
China.
happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I think people
Yeah.
in China are using them. And
Yeah.
I think people in Asia, like kids in Asia, are getting them for Christmas and stuff like that. And then because I mean, if you're in Asia, I can see sort of like a parent in Asia going, well, I could spend $90 on some useless electronic gadget, or a high spec phone, or I can give my child the ability to build things from nothing.
yeah, yeah.
And I think there's a big difference, you know. Especially when you consider a kilo of the filament is only a tenner or less. I've seen it for £8. You know, you just think,
and then it's what you can make with a kilo of filament is phenomenal.
yeah,
You know, because you know once you've got a 3D printer printing, you know, to a reasonable amount of success, to basically to like a to a 0.5 mil tolerance, you know, you're up to the level then where you can do lost wax casting with filament. You print in PLA and you just basically make a sand mold out of it, and you can print and you can then cast aluminium into whatever it is you want to do.
yeah,
You know, talk about an industrial revolution happening. You know,
I think we need to
you know,
kick that off.
no truer words have been said.
Yeah,
You know. Yeah.
yeah, to build like a relatively upgraded 3D printer and say, right, okay, I'm prepared to spend like 120 quid on getting a 3D printer to this level. Get it built, get it to print off Boaty, so that I know that the accuracy's good because it's got every possible shape in the one printing thing, and then just go right. Let's go to Thingiverse and see what we might want.
Yeah,
because Thingiverse is
I
amazing.
mean, there's some amazing stuff on Thingiverse. You know, there's also some amazing stuff that's been, you know, that's been moved off into torrent sites and bits and pieces that just, you know, like, just phenomenal levels of complexity of things have been made and manufactured now in terms of what you can do.
Yeah.
You know, the tennis players are still practicing their fencing skills as I walk past them again on my way home. I'm always impressed that fencing was invented by the tennis was invented by the musketeers in France, so they could practice stabbing one another without stabbing one another.
What?
Is that true? Did Mass just write that in to the Three Musketeers, or was that actually a real thing?
What?
Tennis being like tennis or racquetball being an inception by the musketeers in France, so that they could practice their skills in terms of, like, you know, pointing the pointy sticks at one another. You know, so they could basically, you know, learning to hit a ball with a tennis racket in the early days was very much like
coordination up.
To get your hand-eye coordination in, so you're, you know, more adept at using a sword in swordsmanship terms.
I don't think it can be, because Henry VIII played tennis.
Right, and Henry VIII was obviously
Henry VIII is like
before Dumas.
1530 or something like that. So it's
And when were the Musketeers?
Elizabethan. So it would have been pre-Regency. It would have been about 1680. Is the Three Musketeers?
Yeah. I mean, obviously it was written by Dimash much later than that, but it's based in like it's a tale of
Because
being reasonably
I'm pretty
serious
sure
note.
England has a king at the time of the Musketeers, so that's post-Elizabethan.
Yeah,
So it's got to be
yeah,
16 something. Oh no, it's got to be it's got to be about 1680 because it would have been the restoration, post-restoration,
yeah,
because it's Charles II who's king of England at the time,
yep.
because
He hides all the French.
Louis the Whatsit of France is king, because the first adventure of the Three
Yeah,
Musketeers is recovering the diamond studs that King Louis gave to the Queen, and the Queen
yeah,
has sent them as a sort of a peace gift to Charles II.
yes.
God, that was complicated. That was remembering some history and putting it all in order. Yeah, so it's about 1680 at the time of the Three Musketeers,
See?
who weirdly used swords
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yes, and that was always phenomenal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's
You know,
just like,
they
where are your muskets? If you are musketeers, where are the guns at?
Where are the guns at? You've got the only thing that actually bloody works, properly, as regards a rifle, and you ain't got it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
There's some funny names on some of these models to stop Games Workshop freaking out.
Yes. Yes. Oh, you can make up whole Games Workshop games.
Yeah.
You know, like tabletop gaming has been revolutionised by this stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, there's some.
Yeah.
I mean, things like scenery. You know, if you've got the patience to churn out scenery tiles that are in 3D, but also like, you know, battle mech models are always super expensive.
Yeah.
But things that are going to look pretty much the same on virtual levels. I mean, imagine having a Dungeons and Dragons adventure with like real 3D printing scenery on different levels of a dungeon or a tower or something like that.
Well, I mean, what always did me was like, you know, Airfix kits. You know, I remember making Airfix kits with my dad. And they were fascinating things because, like, you know, you learned a bit about the thing you were making and all that sort of thing. It's like, now you never need another Airfix kit ever. Well, there's probably a better name for it than that. That's just the name of the thing I remember.
Yeah.
But you know, those kits you put together, it's like you don't need those anymore. You know, you can literally like go and print, you know, all those things.
Well, when you look at sort of some of the model kits that you'll see in a you only get them in craft shops now. We don't really have model shops in Manchester, but they got all these craft shops. And you'll find an Airfix model of the Titanic, and it will be like 180 quid. And you just think,
stop.
I could make it for that. But there were certain games that there's a really, really good tabletop game called Full Thrust, which is so quick to play. It's like fleet spaceship combat, and it's so amazingly quick. But, you know, sort of all the models were a little bit of a hassle. You could print an entire fleet of models in one go. You know, just you know, or I've always wanted to play Full Thrust, but with starships from the Honor Harrington universe.
Yeah.
Have you read any Honor Harrington books?
No.
No. That's your next audiobook download.
Oh. Okay. I've got cleaning coming up tomorrow, so that's a good start.
Let me see if I can find YouTube. Let's go to YouTube. Let me see if I can find you a link to On Basilisk Station. I bet there's a full audiobook. I mean, I know it'll take you a while to download it.
No,
I think
you can
definitely get it off Pirate Bay.
Yep.
But they have these it's really hard sci-fi, but you look at it and you just think, I definitely would like to play in the Honor Harrington universe with a set of rules.
Yeah. No, I think you know, and that's the thing. I referenced to because Cyberpunk 2077, like, you know, was announced this week.
Yeah.
Right. And I was just like, oh, phenomenal. Like, you know, I didn't even know this was like, I'd heard in the background things were happening and all the rest of the type stuff. But I'd not really seen any deals about it type thing. And I'm like, crap, like I was playing this in high school. I was playing this when I first started high school. You know, we were playing the first set of rules and the second set of rules came out. And we got very excited and started playing the second set of rules when I was in high school. You know, it's just, it's phenomenal. You know.
Yeah, they definitely do Honor Harrington style battleships.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
For 3D prints, because they're spindle shaped because of the technology that he invented to make them move through hyperspace and stuff. But it also gives him a chance to do this whole sort of Napoleonic Navy type thing. So the ships do have broadsides. So you have to think about that in three-dimensional space, and the ships do have things like missiles and local area energy weapons. But the missiles have got much longer range than the energy weapons, so it's a completely different tactic. And then they start building carriers with like light attack craft, but with also a full missile complement. This is like. But it's interesting that even Thingiverse has Honor Harrington type things.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. They've even got some printable Manticore and Navy crests. Yeah. Well, they've got like all sorts of weird things. Like
awesome.
Sigils. What, a live one?
Like standing up in the street staring at me, debating whether or not to try and attack me.
All right.
No, he's going across the road. Be careful. Don't stop there. Be careful. What do you see now? Nope, going across the street.
But yeah, I could probably get into
we're safe.
Making miniatures. With 3D
but that's the thing
printing.
is, like, it's 3D printing them yourself and then painting them. It's just like, well, what am I? Like I could, you build a 3D printer. One of the first things you should do is build a 3D print filament extruder. Then all you're doing is cutting up bits of recycled plastic from work for feedstock to then go and print everything you need.
Yeah, that would be the next thing. Sort of go, how do we make our own feedstock? Yeah. One guy's built a modular castle. He's got like 10 or 15 different chunks that you can just reassemble, like medieval Lego, which is like circular sections for circular towers, door sections and wall sections, and just put it together for your miniatures depending on what you want to play, including roofs and he's going, well, I've built a tower, I might as well build a windmill attachment so it looks like a windmill. I might as well build some grating or an over gate section so you can have your miniatures all in 35mm scale.
Yeah.
And it's just like, entirely that. I could probably get into painting miniatures if they weren't costing me an absolute fortune.
Yeah. Yeah, if you weren't paying more for the miniature than what it was actually worth in feedstock and time in manufacture, then it's probably worthwhile doing.
Yeah, I mean, it probably takes a long time to print these out, but you if...
But you're leaving it overnight to print. It's not like you're watching it do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And they got some really expensive models. Things that would cost you an absolute fortune, including, especially the BattleTech stuff is very expensive if you want a range of battle mechs.
Yeah.
But yeah, and quite a lot of vehicles. Somebody's done a Star Wars chess set, obviously.
Yes. No. But yeah, I mean that's one of the things that I'd like to see people move into is more like personal manufacture of this sort of stuff, because once you've got that level of complexity, then what is it you can make that is you really are going towards Dr. O's makers. You really are moving towards that level of complexity in sort of what you can do and what you can manufacture for yourself. Why is the light on the cellar at the pub? It's a bit different. The beer will all be cloudy and horrid tomorrow. No. Oh well, there you go. Yeah. There you go, you can sponsor it here.
Yeah. Oh. The Nick Steve 5, Stormy Sunday, 21st of July. This is a film invite.
At least you get some interesting emails.
Yeah. Oh, Miles is deep into filming music and bands and stuff like that. But by that time, I'll have the gimbal, so I can set up the set up the T3i on a tripod.
Yeah.
Shoulder mount my action camera. The older action camera, and then
Yeah.
gimbalify the good camera.
The new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. No, very cool.
Yeah. So I think that's probably the
Oh.
next plan for a piece of equipment. Let's bring manufacturing into the home.
Yeah.
But
No.
so
No, that's the thing. Like, you know, they're so cheap. It's just ridiculous.
yeah.
You know, you can if you've got half a brain in terms of engineering, you can see a lot of stuff that you can, you know, a lot of stuff you can make. There's actually useful stuff, not just models and bits and pieces, but actually, like, you know, things that you might actually use on a day-to-day basis. Which I think is where it becomes pretty cool.
Well, there's certainly a lot of. There's a lot of robots to build as well.
Yeah. I wonder if I could make a lidar scanner a 3D scanner that scanned the miners' hut in Yakandanda. So make a model of the.
Well,
Yakandanda
the thing is
hut.
there's now a free piece of software where if you take enough pictures of something, say you just step round like one step to the left and you keep taking a photo, there's a piece of software that will stitch that together and then shred it into a 3D print thing.
Oh.
There's a whole piece of software that will do it, that will run off a mobile phone.
Yeah.
Run it on Android.
Yeah.
And just
That's
do
very
that.
Cool.
Wow.
No.
Mini quads. Show me the things. Build mini quad frames. No, I'd be into printing mini quad frames because the motors are usually pretty cheap. They're usually about £3 or £4 each.
Yeah.
So if you've got a flight control board and a 3D printer and you just ran together your own frame,
yeah,
you know, they're pretty delicate compared to carbon fibre. But you've only got to print.
Yeah.
If you're printing a frame, you might as well print a spare.
Yeah.
And just run one off. But there's lots of mounts and stuff like that for cameras and things.
Yeah, there's all the bits and pieces, like all the bits and bobs you need to add to it, isn't it? That's the trick is. You know, there's all the little parts that are expensive to buy, you know, or you know, easy to manufacture.
Mm.
Get behind. Yeah. No. Yeah, I do see it being something that people, you know, pick up more and more. I think there's a lot of hype sort of like half dozen years ago, you know, 5, 6 years ago. I think there's a lot of hype about them. I think it's settled down a lot.
Mm.
But I think it's suitably matured enough that people who are going to hang on to them and start doing cool things with them have kept doing cool things with them. And I think a lot of the commercialization has fallen away from it because people have realized that, you know, actually it takes a bit of, you know, upstairs thinking to make it work. But you can still do, you know, a gazillion cool things out of them. You know, like you think about the number of things, you know, that are made out of plastic, you know, just on its own.
Yeah.
And you're there, you know. Yeah. Oh, lolcat. Coming to meet us at the corner.
Wow.
Yes, lolcat. I think I have I don't know of another cat in the universe who gets to the corner and sits in the bush and waits for you to come home. And she's feral. She's been feral for her whole life. She's never, you know, she gets fed. That's all she gets. She doesn't want to know you for otherwise.
Yeah.
But she comes to the corner, you know, past the other terrifying dog and past everything else, and then she sits in between the fence, the hurricane fencing, and the bushes, and she just sits and waits for me. It's strange.
Yeah, I guess once you've got to this point of having a 3D printer and an idea, you'd just be printing shit all the time.
Yeah.
Just go, oh, all right, I need a thing that does this, this, and this.
Yeah, and then I can design that thing myself, and then I can publish the results online, and other people can adapt it or modify it to suit their purposes. You know.
Yeah. I imagine the sort of person that would build a model railway, for instance. has got the technical capacity
easily,
to just go, right, okay, I need a hut there, or I need this loco. I'm not spending 500 quid on it. I'll buy the cheapest possible chassis for a train that fits the loco I'm going to build, and I'm just going to print one.
Yeah.
But it's just like, especially things like, especially wargaming.
Yeah. You know,
especially where somebody's massively taking the piss with the prices of bits of plastic that are injection molding.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I mean, there's an entire print group for wargamers, really. It's just like, okay, we're going to do that. You know, we're gonna make boats, we're gonna make trucks and stuff. I'm not gonna spend money on things anymore. Holy crap! People are really, really, really getting into this 3D printing thing. But it is the sort of people that make stuff. That, you know, it's not. You know, it's the shaman class again. This is like, you know, 8-bit. This is the same sort of age as 8-bit computing. The people that had computers back when there were Spectrums or Commodore 64s are now tinkering with 3D printers, and everybody's ignoring them. And in maybe 10, 15 years, everybody will have one. But right now, nobody's paying any attention at all. Yeah, that's the next piece of equipment. That might be a next month thing, because next month's a 5-week month.
Yeah, which means you've got a bit more.
I typically have a little bit of extra time and money.
Hold on a second while I swap.
Actually, no,
to
it's
something
not.
else. Hopefully the Wi-Fi picks you up without any trouble. Stop it, dog.
Yeah.
Does the Wi-Fi pick you up?
August. Okay, so the next 2 or 3 months of Patreon income are going to go towards that. I'll just put a little bit of money aside as and when I can until August, and then at the beginning of August I'm buying a 3D printer. I could probably buy one next month.
Yeah.
You know, they're just not expensive. It's just not. 85 quid delivered. So yeah.
Have you seen Kevin's comment? Have you seen Kevin's comment to you?
No.
No. Kevin sent you a message in Discord. It was quite entertaining.
Is the lighting? V, watching the most recent Urban Agoge. Don't know if it's the lighting or result of the exercise or something, but you are looking younger.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the lighting then.
Oh, cool.
I'm still as old and craggy as I was. I'm probably a bit older. It's aging me doing this running.
Yeah. Only aging you in a positive way.
Yeah.
Making you more deadly.
Kevin.
I was going to swap to the.
Yeah.
I'm going to swap to the computer because my phone is about to go flat.
Okay.
And are we working now?
Yep, I can hear you.
That's great. Oh, that's better. Now I'm on a big computer that has a much better chance of staying alive.
Awesome.
Oh, come on, phone, plug in. The technology of USBs. Charging cables is annoying me. There we go. Yeah.
I'm surprised Kevin hasn't got a 3D printer.
I'm kind of surprised Kevin hasn't got a 3D printer either. Yeah. Actually,
that'll be weird. I'll have to be the person that sort of goes, right, okay, I'll get that technical thing and then struggle to build it. But I'm looking at the one that's made out of plywood, where the frame is plywood rather than plastic, and I'm thinking that's a much better layout. That's far fewer bolts, because it's the bolts that I really don't want to be doing with. It's about 20 bolts to put the thing together, and maybe a bit of dicking around with the assemblage.
Yeah.
But it looks
that's
like
the i3 model of Prusa, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll send you a link so you can have a look at it. But yeah. But that's one with a heated bed.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it would tell it if and I think the little bed leveler is on the will fit that.
Yeah, I think they're pretty universal. You know, all of them.
But I think that's the one that I'd want to have because so many people have used it, and it's got a nice big print area.
Yeah.
You know, it's 200mm by 200mm by 180. Yeah. It looks pretty easy. You need like a big old desk. You need to make sure that desk is level.
Yeah.
And
but, you know, not without...
Yeah.
Notwithstanding, it's, you know, they are very cool things.
Yeah, and it'll take a while.
Yeah. You know, and it'll be a learning experience in terms of what it is you're doing. You know.
Yeah, I just don't know anybody with one. I mean, and that is cheaper. We have a Hackspace sort of in Manchester, but they want you to put in between 10 and 25 quid a month.
Yeah.
Are you thinking that's £275 a year, or I could just buy a 3D printer because the 3D printer is just about the only tool that I'd want to use.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've got all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have a CNC machine. But most of the other stuff. I wonder how much a CNC milling machine is.
You can adapt cheap ones. There's been numerous models towards moving them, to making them out of machine, like out of routers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Probably the most hackable ones, I think.
Or a laser cutter.
More expensive again, but equally as useful. I loved having access to a laser cutter when I had access to a laser cutter. One of the few things I miss having access to.
Well, there's a Quick Bluetooth laser cutter. Let me see, what sort of thing does it do? Oh, it's pretty tiny.
Yeah.
Mm. 3D printer cutter. Show me the things it does.
I was looking at a 3D printer cutter. They've got them available in like the local big box what would you call it? Like Manchester bedding and fabric stores here.
Yeah.
They have one. And they're produced by, it's something like Brother Sewing Machines or one of those big ass sewing machine companies.
Yeah.
They have one and it cuts out, it does vinyl cutouts. Which I didn't realise people did use things for type of stuff. Yeah. No.
Yeah, I mean, I'd want one of those things that cuts plywood and makes cases and stuff like that and allows you to do stuff. Here we are. 40 by 50 centimetre 500 milliwatt DIY laser engraving machine. 129 quid. There doesn't seem to be an example of what it can do. I want to see. It looks like it cuts through plywood and etches things onto things with lasers. It implies that it'll do it. It's running off an Arduino Micro. and it does look like it's self-assembly. But yeah, I think that's another technology to add to the workshop once you've got it done. But yeah, it's hard to see. It's hard to see what it does.
Yeah.
I used to know people that owned them, but I don't anymore. Yeah, let's go with the 3D printer first, because I think the 3D printer results will be amazing. And I'd definitely like to be able to 3D print all the tricky bits of a drone.
Yeah.
Because then you can just buy flight controllers and motors and stuff like that. Get yourself a box of those things together.
Yeah.
But yeah. There's interesting things in the world.
There really are.
And nobody's using them. This stuff's just lying around waiting to be purchased. And everybody's going, no, well, I don't really see the need for... Like, what? You don't want to be able to three-dimensionally print in plastic?
It's like you don't want to be able to run fast. Or run slowly, even.
Yeah. I bet there's a whole bunch of bushcrafting goodies that you could use. You could do things like that in. I mean, even if you were just doing something like printing a handle for a blank fire steel, like print a really big sort of like super secure handle that would allow you to take the whatchamacallit, the fire steel out once it had been too worn down on one side, turn it over, and then put the other half back into the handle that was worn down, and just have like some sort of screw lock for it.
Yeah.
Let's go right.
Well, there you go. I just searched on Thingiverse for bushcraft. Right. There's like handsaw adapters, so you can turn things into a handsaw. There is survival kits. There's big mini waterproof cases, like floatable cases. There's sparkers, so like turning a big lighter, an old disused big lighter into a sparker. Fire steel handles, waterproof containers, aromatic containers, cordage winders, toggles, handles for more knives, and hobo reels.
That's pretty fun.
You know, I'm sure there's more things that can be made.
Oh, there's a cordage winder gearbox, so you can just do stuff.
There's all the parts to build a camping chair from like the adapters for camping chairs when they break. Camp rope tighteners and toggles.
Yeah.
Gas canister stands. Survival water filters, camping water filters.
Yeah.
Cutlery, fold-back cutlery sets. Tarp clips.
Interesting.
Just what every single dish pit in the world needs: a camp dish drying rack that is 3D printed. You can go to the bush and you can wash the dishes.
Wow. So look, do they...
There's some phenomenal stuff, like just weird stuff that people have made.
Yeah.
It really is.
Very, very weird. But if you can imagine it...
You can make it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the thing. It's such a changing technology in terms of, like, you know, it's because it's additive processing. You know, what you can turn around and make with it is just, you know, phenomenal. Yeah.
I mean,
that's a great idea. A camp shower cap, so it turns a PET bottle into a shower cap.
Huh.
You just squeeze, like, you fill it up for the warm water and squeeze it, and you can squeeze up, like it hoses you down as like a shower does. That's a brilliant idea.
But it is pretty impressive. Just all the little bits and bobs you can build. I mean, you'd probably be sitting there bored and going, you know what I want?
Yeah. That's the thing, though, isn't it? It's you know, it's whatever. It makes whatever you want.
Yeah. Be a fun thing to give to my daughter for Christmas. Just print out a whole bunch of the stuff that she'd normally pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just left my 3D printer running. Oh, that's pretty cool. An Umbrella Academy mask. Which, if you haven't seen it, I thoroughly recommend.
Yes.
I understand watching a lot of this stuff, and some of the anime and some of the sci-fi stuff is really interesting. And then you look at the gigantic pile of stuff that you could theoretically buy, and all the little figurines and stuff like that. And you're just like, no. Here's the thing I bet they've already got. I'm going to put in Pickle Rick. All right. Rick and Morty? Is there any Rick and Morty merchandise?
Oh, sure.
Oh, you can make the butter robot. What is my purpose? You did it. You passed butter. Oh my god. Exactly. Welcome to my universe. That's just the butter robot is easily one of the funniest characters, and it's only got 2 lines.
It truly is.
Yeah. It comes together as a kit, so it's posable as well.
Yeah.
You just print off the kit, and then you get a few little bolts and some paint, and then you can paint it so that it is the butter robot.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I definitely want a butter robot because it's so incongruous. It's so not obvious what it is.
Yeah.
I bet you could get an Arduino with a little sound chip and, just go, right, press it. Oh my god.
Mate.
What is my purpose? You did it. You passed butter. So yeah, there are a few Rick and Morty things. They got Rick and Morty cooker cutters. They got a portal gun, a 3D coaster, a cromulon, which is one of the creatures that goes, "Show me what you got." In fact, there's quite a few portal guns.
Well, everyone needs a portal gun.
Yeah. Oh god, wouldn't you? Rick Sanchez. And you got the Mr. Meeseeks things, and there is a Pickle Rick. You can build the Pickle Mouse cyborg, which is the only Pickle Rick worth having. Taken from the thing. I quite fancy a Pickle Rick cyborg and a butter robot.
A printable fishing rod. It's a tiny, inside of your palm of your hand, printable fishing rod. That's a great idea.
Well, I got round the whole fishing rod thing by just those little little eye hook things. Yeah. Just carry a couple of those and some fishing line, find a decent stick. And you've essentially got a fly fishing reel, a fly fishing rod, and you can just just drop that in. Got printable snuffles. The Cyberdog. Got quite a few butter robots actually. Apparently everybody wants a butter robot.
Yeah. Well, everyone needs one, obviously. The price of rope to pass the butter.
Oh. There's a print for a model kit for the Rick's Flying Saucer. And it looks pretty damn good actually. With the tiny Rick and Morty pilot.
Oh, there you go. A ground spike for an action camera.
Ah. Now we're boring the people at home.
By searching the internet.
Oh, that's a bloody good idea. The knob wrench for the standard GoPro screw-in pins.
Yes. Yeah.
Somebody's already made a bubble tripod. The Joby Gorilla Pod.
Yep. Yeah.
Ah, somebody's built a steady rig for one. It's pretty impressive. I like the ground spikes. A bloody great idea. That looks like it wouldn't take too long to print at all.
No.
Yeah, There's a shitload of little mounts and stuff for those.
Yeah, just shitloads of stuff that you can just manufacture. It's just amazing what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tiny little simple non-folding tripod. Action camera power banks. Or power
there
bank
you go.
holders.
A Zero Bot, an off-road version, Raspberry Pi Zero FPV robot. You can build an actual robot by 3D printing now.
Yeah.
Case and using a Raspberry Pi Zero.
Yeah, just use that to control servos and away you go.
Yep.
Definitely like the idea of an easy to use case for the action camera, because I always worry about the lenses getting scratched.
Yeah.
I don't really like putting them in the waterproof holders.
Printable headlamps for caving and mining. There you go. Anyways, enough of that.
Yeah, enough of that. Let's stop looking at Thingiverse and going yes. So yeah, it might well be that in 3 or 4 weeks I'm just going to buy myself a 3D printer.
And then we'll have many videos of
me trying to put the frigging
thing.
thing together. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying to get that across to my daughter. It's sort of like, so what does it do? And she was like, what? This thing that you're looking at in the window of the shop that costs like £100, what does it do?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't do anything. And what good is it to you? I mean, yeah, I bet you could pretty much qualify yourself as a 3D printer engineer by dint of having put one together and done some CAD and put stuff together for it.
Yeah.
You know. Because, it's like the Raspberry Pi. It's yes, we know they exist, but the people out there don't know it exists. If you there's no shop that you can go into where this shit's like in use.
Yeah, lying around. Yeah.
Where you can go, all right, well, this 3D printer ready built, they charge you £30 to put one together. So, but you can buy a 3D printer. You can walk into the store and buy a 3D printer already assembled and test it. For like £130.
Yep.
Where it's taken an hour or so to put together. You've paid for that person to put it together. They've given you a micro SD card with a few sample prints on it. You've seen your printer run the sample prints, and it's been set up. And then you can put it in a cardboard box and take it home. There's no way you can just walk in and say, "Oh, can you show me how to 3D print something?" There's no way you can walk in and buy a Raspberry Pi on the shelf.
Yeah.
Other than second-hand stores, where I've seen a few. Or pre-built arcade-ready machines. Where somebody goes, right, I can't sell you the files. I can send you a link. I can give you a link to a video where it shows you how to do it. But here is... a game controller, a little box for the Raspberry Pi Zero, a micro SD card, an HDMI cable, a power cable, and all that. So, if you do this and you follow the steps in this video, you can download basically any 8-bit computer game you can think of. Anything up to Mega Drive games. You can have every Mega Drive game, every SNES game, every Nintendo NES game, every Game Boy game, every Atari game, every Sega Master System game. You can have all that. There you go. That's where you get the link. What's your email address? I'll send you the link. It will go directly to the video where it shows you how to do it. But aside from that, this is your games machine. And that will be less than £20.
Yeah.
With like 1,700, something like 8,000 games on it. But it's more interesting to build than it is to play the games.
Yeah, that's always the trick, isn't it?
You can't. There aren't any shops where you can just walk in and buy it. I mean, that's the sort of shop I'd like to work in. I don't think I'd want to take that risk because I don't believe that there is the market of people wandering by, coming in and buying a computer for a £5.
Yeah.
You could. I mean, the sort of shop I'd want to do would have like old laptops that have been sorted out with Linux. You know, that now run and do everything that you might want to do. You know, Raspberry Pis, little kits to turn Raspberry Pis into laptops. You know, literally art foam card and an 8-inch HDMI display and a Raspberry Pi and a battery and a little Bluetooth keyboard and a mouse. You used to say, right, that's 50 quid. The starter one with the Raspberry Pi Zero in it is, you know, 50 quid. You know, if you want to upgrade it to a Raspberry Pi Zero, you just unplug a Raspberry Pi 3, unplug the Raspberry Pi Zero, and plug in the Raspberry Pi 3 because everything else is here. I mean, the newest USB stick that I bought is 256 gig. And that was 25 quid.
No, it's just getting phenomenally cheaper, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I bought it for backing up, for doing another backup of Urban Agoge, because I reckon it will be about 250 gig when it's done.
Yeah. No.
But yeah. Oh, now I've got to go and do exercise. It's exercise day.
It is exercise day.
Yeah. And unfortunately, yeah. So I'll put this up. I've taken off the video.
Yep.
So we're going to stop recording now. Yeah. So as I said earlier, when you were cut off, the Swedish prepper guide is going to be uploaded to the same place as on archive.org as this audio that you can download as a podcast. It's now been going for 2.5 hours nearly.
Yep.
So yeah, that was fun. More information out there.
Cool.
And it's been good chatting with you.
It has been.
And now I've got to buy a 3D printer. But apart from that,
it's all good. Oh, cool. All right then, I'll let you get away with your day. I'm going to go and get sorted for bed.
Okay, mate. Will you take care of yourself?
Yeah, have fun. I'll talk soon.
Okay, man. You look after yourself. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.